about the perception of revolutionaries and the scene or vision of what happened 25th of January Revolution. But do you think another point of hesitation or force would be the foreign affairs and how Western countries are putting pressure on Egypt on this?
Based on my analysis, I do hope that Mr. Adli Mansour will really run into the presidency race. I think he's a quite very knowledgeable person, and he runs the country from the legal point of view. Everything has to come out right. I do have some criticism to the law that came out about the presidency itself, basically requesting 25,000. Yes, it is a large number, and it doesn't allow really young people or youth to help, or doesn't help them to get the 25,000 to join the race. We don't have a parliament, so the factor of having 20 parliamentarian or even representation in a parliament for people to join, we don't have. So we're really in a very difficult situation at the moment. So if Marshal Sisi decides to go on, we'll have to support him, but we really don't have any choice at this moment. But I do hope that there will be some amendments to the presidential law, or the law that governs the presidency elections, to be able to allow youth to join the race and be part of the future. Because what Mubarak did during 30 years is killing all the young people and not giving any opportunities at all to them. So that's really what we're having at the moment. We don't have second or third generations that can really lead the country to the next democracy.
Hamdin Sabahi said previously that if Sisi is going to be running for presidency, he's not going to be running for presidency, and then just a couple of days later he decides to go for presidency. How would you describe this?
Hamdin Sabahi is a very confused person. He doesn't have a solid opinion that can really make the Egyptians trust him and follow him. And I think that's been experienced during the last 2 or 3 years with Hamdin Sabahi. He keeps really changing his opinion. I've listened to a lot of seminars presented by Hamdin Sabahi, and I really couldn't see a vision for a president of Egypt. Hamdin Sabahi is not really able, or is not going to be able to run the country. He plays with whatever wins him, the ground. Yes, he said that he's not going to go into the presidency race if Sisi nominates or presents himself, yet he's changing. Abdelmanam al-Futuh is exactly doing the same thing. So neither Hamdin Sabahi nor Abu al-Futuh can actually run the country. And I think Abu al-Futuh doesn't really stand a chance, because his allies and his ties with the Muslim Brotherhood is really known to all Egyptians. He's known for being a hypocrite and always change his statements and keeps playing on different sides. So unfortunately, both of them were not going to stand really a good chance.
We'll continue the serious talk, but we'll move now for a lighter topic. This is a break, and one of the most amazing and folkloric places to be visited in Aswan is its bazaar. It's where you can spend a magnificent time scrolling down a long street that sells Egyptian souvenirs and feel the atmosphere of the place. Tune in for the next feature about Aswan's bazaar with Dina Yunus. About his book, or the framework he has written. It's a huge one. It includes all of the aspects, from political aspects, industry, and everything. If you can tell us more about what you have dubbed and named as Al-Abur Al-Thani, if you give us a briefing about it.
Okay. Well, Al-Abur Al-Thani, or the second crossing, is a name that I decided to choose particularly for two reasons. Taking the January 25th as the revolution and the move to the second age of Egypt in terms of democracy, and particularly taking Sinai at the center of that. The second crossing as a mega plan, basically starting from redesigning the provinces based on resources, and particularly the major problem we have in Egypt at the moment, which is the population map. We've got over 80% of population lives in the delta. So for us to be able to move people out, we need a proper plan to redesign provinces, and also help people move out, giving them land, providing work opportunities, and also help them to live a decent life. Thereafter, I looked at the reform of the administrative system, legal system, and a political system. And taking particularly a closer look at the political system, I noticed that, I'm sorry,
Okay.
in the new constitution, they removed the word socialism.
Yes.
Now, if you're looking at Egypt, it is a socialist system, because a socialist system basically in a political science means that we prefer the rights and the needs of society over the rights and needs of the individuals. So removing socialism from the political system is a fault, and that's how and why Nasser had it really in there, because it means that the political system relies on community. In terms of the political system, I suggested that we start running using the instant runoff, having a number of candidates that are running for presidency campaign to run kind of a survey to start taking one of them. So in the end, we'll have 2 or 3 at the maximum, and this will help the new president of Egypt to enjoy the full support of people. If you look at Morsi, for example, he obtained 25% and Shafiq 24%, and then in the second round, Morsi obtained 52%, which is not a lot. So we need to change the system to look at 2-phase presidential election to allow the new president, to enjoy full support of the entire population. In terms of the political party, I've studied 17 countries, looking at a number of parties and how they get involved in the political life. Looking at, for example, England, the 2 political party system in United States, 2 in Australia, 2 in New Zealand. Looking at Sweden, and studied 27 large parties in the world. The best system that suits Egypt is 3 political parties. We have 2 major parties, for example, Democratic and Republican, and the third one, like the Labour Party, which basically is a specialized party that focuses on a particular group of people. We've got over 18 million workers in Egypt, so that particular party will have the support of the 18 million, and the rest of the 53 million Egyptians will be divided between the 2 based on their choice. The plan here was to dissolve the entire 85 political parties and take the 85 heads of parties and say, look, we're going to take 3 presidents for the new political parties, and you need to basically nominate 3. That's how
it's like
runs.
Enforcing a system.
It's a forcing system, and that's what you have in the United States. Exactly. Because at the moment you're having the entire Egyptian system is divided. And based on that, what you said earlier in terms of who will run into the presidency and whether he's going to be able to enjoy the full support of the Egyptians, you will never find that. Because at least, I now heard about small political parties are nominating their heads to be the next president. So my expectation is probably going to have 20, 25 people running into presidency.
Let me ask you this. You spent 3 years preparing this framework, covering every aspect. I had a quick look at your book. How is it being utilized today? Because you definitely did extensive research in every aspect in different countries, in different political systems, and even in industries and expertise.
Yeah. At the moment, these 2 projects that started to surface on board, giving people land in Sinai between 10 to 20 acres in Sinai, selling it to people. That started last 2 months. At the moment, there is a talk around the Congo River that reaches basically the Congo River to the Nile River, because at the moment the Congo River drops into the Atlantic Ocean over 1,200 billion meter of water that basically run wasted. So if we run this canal of 600 kilometers, it will lead the water to the
Sorry
Nile
to
River.
interrupt you, but our time has ended. Unfortunately, we'd like to thank you very much for joining us.
You're welcome.
And we hope we have another edition where
Always.
we dig deeper into your book. Thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Ahmed.
Thanks.
Now let's move on to the musical cast, Watar al-Wahid, and let's have a look at the upcoming story.